अस्ट्रेलियाबाट उच्च शिक्षा अध्ययन गरी फर्किएका नेपालीहरूको अलुम्नाईहरूको संस्था एसोसिएसन अफ नेप्लिज अलुम्नाई फर अस्ट्रेलिया आनाद्वारा आयोजित पहिलो बागमती प्रादेशिक भेला सम्पन्न भएको छ। नेपालको विकासमा अलुम्नाईको योगदानको उत्सव भन्ने मूल नारासहित होटल बाराई ठमेलमा भव्य रूपमा कार्यक्रम आयोजना गरिएको हो। कार्यक्रममा नेपालका विभिन्न क्षेत्रमा नेतृत्वदायी भूमिका निर्वाह गरिरहेका अस्ट्रेलियन अलुम्नाईहरूको उल्लेखनीय उपस्थिति रहेको थियो। अस्ट्रेलियन दूतावास नेपालको सहयोगमा सम्पन्न यस भेलाले प्रादेशिक स्तरमा अलुम्नाईहरूको सञ्जाल विस्तार गर्ने उद्देश्य बोकेको थियो। आना अध्यक्ष अनन्त पौडेलले स्वागत मन्तव्य व्यक्त गर्दै कार्यक्रमको सुरुवात गर्नुभएको थियो।
A big namaste and a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Ananta Paudel and I am deeply honored to stand here before you as the president of the Association of Nepalese Alumni from Australia, that's the BOL ANAA. A little about me, my connection to Australia started back in 2012 when I went to the country to pursue my master's degree in international relations from the prestigious Monash University. And after completing my education in 2014, I came back to Nepal to kickstart my career. And like anyone else, I faced multiple challenges along the way. But eventually, I found my track, and I must say that my Australian degree started to work wonders for me. And since then, over a decade now, I have been actively working in the sector of international education, working with universities all around the world. And over the period of last 5 years and counting, I have been serving as a board member in Nabil Bank, focusing in improving the access to finance to those in need, enhancing the remittance corridor, and made efforts to digitize the banking system through Nabil. But being here today as the ANAA president, it fills me with immense pride and joy. This event has been one of ANAA's dream project for a while now, and for that I extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone here helping turn this vision into a reality. At ANAA, we aspire to organize similar events in each province of Nepal, and today we begin right here from Bagmati. A special thanks to the generous support of the Australian Embassy. I express my sincere appreciation to Mr. Greg Clem, a man who has shown a deep interest to support the alumni community and our luck. He is the deputy head of missions of the Australian Embassy here, so he could mobilize the resources and make this possible. I also thank and welcome the entire Australian Embassy team, Sanjana ji, Sunita ji, Krishna ji, who I always appreciate his efforts as well, and the newest member, Mr. Dylan Jones. We truly are delighted to have you all with us. I also welcome the core team of Australia Awards, Salina ji and Khem ji, who have always supported ANAA. The Australia Awards scholarship program play an important role in strengthening the Nepal-Australia ties. We Nepalese are sincerely grateful to the generous Australian people for offering such invaluable scholarship opportunities to some of the brightest minds of Nepal. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of leaders of different educational consultancy associations like NAIA, IRIN, NECA, FECON, ECAN, and ERI Nepal, and also highlight the presence of regional managers or country representatives of esteemed universities, including the University of Adelaide, Southern Cross University, Australian Catholic University, University of Technology Sydney College, Kaplan Business School, and the Institute International College of Management Sydney. Your commitment to guiding students along with the right academic path is deeply appreciated, and we ANAA aim to work more closely with you all.
संस्थाका अध्यक्ष डाक्टर रामहरि अर्यालले आनाको स्थापना, उद्देश्य र क्रियाकलापको बारेमा संक्षिप्त जानकारी प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको थियो।
I did my master and PhD from Australia. I come back from Australia and completing PhD in 1995. Immediately after coming back, I got an opportunity to present a paper in PAA, Population Association of America, in San Francisco, USA in 1996. I met different professionals from different countries, and they were busy meeting their own alumni. I also attended some alumni meetings. Then I understand that the beauty of an alumni association lies in its ability to foster a strong, lasting connection between former students and their alma mater, creating a new network for mutual support, professional development, and lifelong learning. These theoretical circumstances had encouraged and motivated me to form an alumni association in Nepal. After returning back from San Francisco after taking the PA meeting, I look and try to find out the Australian graduate in Kathmandu. Hardly I found nine people interested, and we decided to form ANAA in 1998. ANAA was established and registered as Educational Social Society with an aim of exchanging their theoretical and practical know-how, skill and experiences and refinement, and it contribute to the overall development of Nepal. The ANAA is an organization of professionals graduated from various universities or education institutions of Australia. ANAA was also developed as an inclusive and forwarding-looking institutions for providing networking and professional services to its members, like-minded individuals and institutions. At the initial stage, due to lack of resources, our limited activities and involvement with different stakeholders had provided us an opportunity to obtain some support. At that time, when we opened the ANAA was the first national level alumni association in South Asia. We came to know that the Australian Scholarship Office at Bangladesh will support the alumni activities in South Asia. Accordingly, we approached the Australian Scholarship Office at Bangladesh to support ANAA financially and functionally. As a result, the Scholarship Office at the High Commission of Bangladesh expressed an interest to support ANAA and its activities, followed by a team visit to Nepal and meet ANAA members. The strategic plan of ANAA was developed and activities were identified. Finally, the Office of the Australian Awards for Nepal was also established at the premises of Australian Embassy in Kathmandu, and the alumni activities were given priority. Since then, ANAA has been involving and conducting different national and local level activities.
कार्यक्रमको पहिलो सत्रमा विविध क्षेत्रमा योगदान गरिरहेका अलुम्नाईहरूको प्रस्तुति रहेको थियो। आनाकी बोर्ड मेम्बर तथा युएनडिपीकी प्रोजेक्ट अफिसर मनिषा बुर्लाकोटीले उक्त सत्रको सहजीकरण गर्नुभएको थियो। समावेशी शिक्षाको अभ्यास र नीतिगत सुधारको विषयमा चर्चा गर्दै अपाङ्गता समावेशीकरण विशेषज्ञ रजुना सिंहले आफ्नो प्रस्तुति दिनुभएको थियो।
I am a person with disability, and if I have accessible environment, I can do the things that anyone can do. So this is the perspective I got after I study in Australia. This has given me insight in my life. After coming back to Nepal, I was working this. At present I work as a disability inclusion officer, and I work with different types of disability. When I encounter with person with visually impaired, person with hearing impaired, I also realize that people really don't understand disability. I understand my physical disability, but when I started to work with them, then I realized why people without disability don't understand what disability is. Because when I talk with someone with visual impaired, when they share their story, then I have come to know, oh, this is the challenges actually. So that's why having vision future with inclusion is not only with me limited, but I need to share why it is important. So I learned this thought when I was in Australia. I did Master in Special Education from Flinders University, and those 2 years I learned not just the academic thing, but experience-based thing as well. And then I started to work in this field.
त्यस्तै जल र जलवायु विज्ञ डाक्टर धीरज प्रधानाङ्गले हिमाली क्षेत्रको संरक्षण, ग्लेसियर अध्ययन र दिगोपनाको विषयमा आफ्नो प्रस्तुति प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको थियो।
What I consider as being an ANAA member or Australian Awards alumni, it is a platform that has provided me to build myself and continued effort or contribution. So the best part is whenever I was recognized by some media or for scientific publications, then ANAA, Australian Awards, Australian Embassy provided me platform to share my experiences and knowledge. So that was a very important step for me. And one of them, this one I really want to mention here, when UNEP said that out of 300 projects that they received, one was selected from Nepal, and that was our effort. So with the Ministry of Forestry and Environment, we launched some of the very pioneering initiatives in Nepal. So I really wanted to mention that. And currently now I'm leading one regional projects in Southeast Asia and China with more than 17 collaborators from the region, and this is the challenge that we are addressing for the impact caused by climate change. And I noticed that one of the participants from Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, where I started my career, Indira Cardell is also here. So we are trying to work on the hydrology and meteorology sector with these efforts.
नीति निर्माण र उच्च शिक्षामा गुणस्तरीयताको प्रत्याभूति गराउनु पर्ने विषयमा केन्द्रित रहँदै त्रिभुवन विश्वविद्यालयकी पूर्व डिन प्रोफेसर कुसुम साक्यले कार्यक्रममा आफ्नो धारणा व्यक्त गर्नुभएको थियो।
I haven't got the PhD from that ANU because of I did my master's from Nepal. That's what I didn't get at that time. That's what I heard it. However, I was lucky enough that I got very good foundations from the ANU to get my PhD. So after back from my ANU, I have got very good foundations for my PhD. I will take care for all these points later on next slides. So regarding this major learning from Australia, of course, the quality education center network is a very strong asset. Just by this May 25th, I was connections with my professor Terence Hall. He was the best, my professors in demography. When I was asking or requesting to get the reference in my CVC, he's quite happy to give me that his whole detailed address. When I met him in Malaysia, when we had the APP, the Asian Population Associations, and when we met, and he didn't ask me how is Kusum, his question was, what is your latest publications? So that sentence made me so inspired. So that's the sentence I used to also in my classroom with my students. I'll talk only about the publications, whatever, because of I have a background in the academia. So that's the publication is our introduction.
त्यस्तै प्रस्तुतिकै क्रममा अक्सफोर्ड पोलिसी म्यानेजमेन्ट नेपालकी कन्ट्री म्यानेजर हेमा भट्टले दक्षिण एसियामा स्वास्थ्य प्रणाली सुधार र विकेन्द्रीकरणको अनुभव साझा गर्नुभएको थियो।
Australia for me was not just about the universities, the assignments, the lectures. It was more about bonding, more about making meaningful, beautiful friendships with people across the world and people from different cultural contexts. It was about finding support through the mentors, to the peers, and it was about appreciating the power of network and building a lasting network coming back home. Not only that, it also gave me an opportunity to have a deeper insight to my own values. It shaped my work in the ground. In essence, what I feel was the Australia journey was a truly global community for me, which challenged me to grow myself more professionally, personally, and purposefully. When I came back home, I didn't just came up with an Australian degree. I came with a renewed confidence in myself. I came up with enhanced knowledge and skills and a new perspective into looking at the same things but differently. You know, all of this has improved my chances of working across the policy sector. And I've very much worked in development sector. You know, when I came back, I started my career as a researcher, where I was generating evidence to inform policies. And as I evolved to become program manager, I was specially engaged in translating those policies into annual plans budgets, implementing those policies through the systemic challenges that we have, and navigating all of them to trying to measure the results.
अन्तमा किङ्स कलेजका इनोभेसन किचन हेड सुशान्त रिजालले युवाहरूको सशक्तिकरणमा आधारित सामाजिक उद्यमशीलताको चर्चा गर्दै अस्ट्रेलियाबाट आफूले सिकेका विषयमा समेत प्रकाश पार्नु भएको थियो।
In 2022 June, I was there in Australia National University, and I was doing my Masters of Management, Advanced, and it was specialized in entrepreneurship and innovation. So it's where it began because I wanted to study entrepreneurship and also do research at the same time. So then what happened? It was not just about studying because I didn't have to take care of a lot of things. So because I didn't have to care a lot of things, I had a lot of my interest to explore of. So what I did was, because I was interested in understanding about academia and research, so I worked as a research assistant. It was, with a rigorous follow-up, and then I got a job around 2 a.m. So pretty interesting. And then I was also into academia. I was also tutoring, I was grading, and I was doing all those sort of things. And I was understanding how academia works, how grading or how teaching something or how tutoring works in Australia. That was a good insight that I got because it was intricately designed, because you look at a lot of components apart from just teaching the textbook. So that was an interesting insight that I got along the process.
दोस्रो सत्र अन्तर्गत विशेष प्यानल सेसन आयोजना गरिएको थियो, जसको सहजीकरण आनाका महासचिव तथा वाटर एड नेपालका कन्ट्री डाइरेक्टर सुदर्शन न्यौपानेले गर्नुभएको थियो। प्यानल डिस्कसनमा उद्योग वाणिज्य तथा आपूर्ति मन्त्रालयका सचिव डाक्टर रामप्रसाद घिमिरे, जसले नीतिमा आधारित सार्वजनिक सेवा सुधारको बारेमा प्रकाश पार्नु भएको थियो।
Since Nepal went to the federal system of governance, it's not been long, but the basics are in place now. So when I came back from Australia, so there was nothing called fiscal federalism. So I and another joint secretary who also became acting secretary. So we were supposed to establish an independent commission to implement fiscal federalism in the country. So there are nothing in neither the office nor the data, nothing. So we collected some data, and of course we had some data up to district level, but we had to generate the data up to the global levels. So we created some criteria for fiscal federalism. That is still working. So others look to the fiscal federal system of governance. We had the local levels there. Only the fiscal federalism there was not. It was not there in practice during that time. So if we think that current situation in the context of federal system governance, I think all the basics are in place. So the local levels are to some extent empowered at the moment. So they are working. So generally people did overgeneralize that global. The carries use rampant perhaps or something like that. But it's not the case. If we go to the local levels, they are doing very well. And if you ask about the economic situation, I think we underwent with so many difficulties, COVID and global supply disruptions and so many things, we sustained. And I think it's a time to move forward to try.
त्यस्तै डिजिटल पत्रकारिता र नागरिक सहभागिताको सम्बन्धमा केन्द्रित रहँदै नेपाल रिपब्लिकन मिडियाकी सिइओ समृद्धि ग्यावालीले आफूले अध्ययन गरेको अस्ट्रेलियाको शिक्षा र नेपालको परिवेशको बारेमा तुलना गर्दै डिजिटल पत्रकारिता र नागरिक सहभागिताका विषयमा प्रकाश पार्नु भएको थियो।
So when we look at our history, 1990 was when our democracy was restored, right? And that's where the political development happened. And after that, when you come down and you look at a couple of years back, our country has actually gone through a really good social development as well. Today, when you look at it, our human index, development index has increased in terms of longevity, gender inclusivity, a lot of things. And we're actually from a resident development nation, we're transitioned. Now, all of these things that we have gotten after the restoration of our democracy, media had became a lot more empowered to raise concerns, voices, opinion, and put things agenda set, and put narratives across, right? And this is where we see a lot of good development that has come across. Now, I think today when we're looking at it, we do see rumblings about, dissatisfaction, when we're looking around in different forms. I think the major dissatisfaction right now with most Nepalese is about economic development. I mean, yes, there have been a lot of economic development, but not to the level where we would like us to be.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the media actually plays a very strong role as well. Because from the historical where media has been empowered to sort of change political scenarios, social scenario, and I'm pretty sure media will be able to sort of create a good right narrative when it comes to economic development as well. So when I talk about economic development, what I mean by is, yes, when we look around, with the federal system coming into place, accessibility is not an issue today. I refuse to believe anybody who says Bato Banasen, because road is something that has been built left, right, center. West to east, our connectivity has really increased.
That's right.
Right? But the point is, are people using it? Because most of our people have left the country, at least the working population. The youth, a lot of them are looking for opportunities elsewhere. And I think that's where the media needs to play a role, because that's where the government, private, public partnership needs to come in order to create more job opportunities and retain its youth in order to develop this country and take it to the next phase of economic development. And I think that's where the narrative needs to be.
त्यस्तै ऊर्जा र नवप्रवर्तन र स्वच्छ प्रविधिको विषयमा केन्द्रित रहँदै दीपक रौनियालले आफ्नो धारणा व्यक्त गर्नुभयो।
Last 15 years, I've seen Nepal that was not there. It is not a gloomy Nepal, but a Nepal that is full of potential, and the hydropower story tells that. It is a story of belief. We have been doing hydropower since last 128 years, but in the last 15 years, we've totally changed the narrative. Prior to that, the narrative, the dominating narrative was that Nepal can do only micro hydro or mini hydro fleets. But we changed that. We now have completed a 56 megawatt mega hydropower project with our own resources, with our own leadership. It is definitely a story of breaking barriers, be it in terms of engineering, be it in terms of human resources, be it in terms of resources. I'll tell you, currently we have in excess of 3,000 megawatt of generation capacity that is installed. Hydropower is close to 99%, 1% is super. You'll be amazed that overwhelmingly, almost 90% of the financial resources that has come into the development of these infrastructure has been from within the country. We have really breaking that barrier where the earlier generation thought that without outside support, we cannot develop our resources, right? It's another story of creating value. It has opened, and we have just developed 5% of our potential that we talk about, right? And look what it has done. It has opened up trade to us. We are now exporting to Bangladesh. We are now connected with the Indian Power Exchange. What we have done in terms of electric mobility, we are now the second country in the world in terms of EV adoption. The 1,500 odd four-wheeler vehicles that we import, it is creating a domestic demand of 81 gigawatt hour. Right? It is putting that impetus to develop more and more hydropower resources, because there is enough and a scope for domestic consumption that is happening. It is creating employment. We have created in the last 10-15 years, Nepal has been one country which has done most hydropower projects in the world. And it has been done by Nepalese, overwhelmingly Nepalese engineers, Nepalese designers, Nepalese construction people, right? Abundant knowledge base that has been created, and this knowledge can now be used in other parts of the world. So that is what is happening.
प्यानल डिस्कसनकै क्रममा बैंकिङ सुधार नेतृत्व र नीति निर्माणमा केन्द्रित रहँदै नबिल बैंकका पूर्व प्रमुख कार्यकारी अधिकृत ज्ञानेन्द्र ढुङ्गानाले आर्थिक उन्नतिमा आफ्नो लगाव र अस्ट्रेलियाबाट सिकेको ज्ञानबाट निकै टेवा पुगेको जानकारी गराउनुभयो।
There were only 3 government bank and 1 private sector bank. That was the Nabil Bank. In private sector, Nabil Bank was the first bank. That time, the capital structure, the overall business of the bank was so small. I think some of you will be laughed if you just I say the capital requirement of the bank at that time. That time, 3 crore Nepali was the capital requirement of the bank to establish a bank. And now it's 8 billion, and now the license is also stopped. From 3 crore to 8 billion capital requirement, that means we'll do the business around 10 times of the capital fund. The bank generate every year a more capital fund by virtue of the profits and other reserves. Now the overall size of the bank, the business, if we take the deposit or loan of our overall banking sector, it is higher than our GDP size. That means we can imagine how much contribution the banking sector has given for our economic growth, our GDP, employment, overall entrepreneurship development, whatever you say. Lately, Secretary Sir says, when we went to the federal system, now government force us, I'm sorry to use that word, force all the bank, including private sector, to go to the particular local area, because there are more than 300 local government who said Gaon Palika or Nagarpalika or Garisab. 300, more than 300 local level government where there was no banking access, especially the commercial banking. There might be a cooperative, might be a microfinance institution, but banking, commercial bank branches or their outlet or their access was not there. And among the 22 bank, we have divided. Almost Navil also opened 20 branches. Navil chose the far western region. I was the CEO in Nepal Bangladesh Bank. Being from the eastern part of the Nepal, I choose the eastern part of the Nepal. After merger, now it becomes more than 44 branches are in all rural area where there is access. The road access is not there, electricity is not there, manpower is not available. Even the house to rent for a bank is not there. Even some of the places we have asked the landlord to build a house, we'll take the rent.
Yeah.
That means that kind of contribution in banking sector has to be.
त्यस्तै पोषण र सार्वजनिक स्वास्थ्यको विषयमा विज्ञता हासिल गर्नुभएकी दिव्यलक्ष्मी मानन्दरले बहुक्षेत्रीय समन्वय मार्फत स्वास्थ्य सेवामा सुधार कसरी हुनुपर्छ भन्ने विषयमा आफ्नो दृष्टिकोण प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको थियो।
In my opinion, the diverse, so we all know that the province is very diverse in its socio-demographic characteristics as well as socio-cultural characteristics. And I think it is one of the big challenges in the health sector, and that in turn leading to the inequity. That is another challenge in the progress made in the health sector. And I think we shall look upon it from the different aspect of the health sector, including the system strengthening, especially the healthcare services, and also the health indicators in the provinces compared to the other provinces, and as well the risk factors to the population health. What are the risk factors in the province, within the province compared to the other provinces of Nepal? So when we look at the health system strengthening, especially the healthcare services, we all know that most of the advanced level healthcare services are accessible and available mainly in the major big cities. So Bagmati province houses the major metropolitan cities of the country. But the case is not same in the rural areas where the advanced or even the tertiary level healthcare services are very limited. And this is leading to the inequity in the development of the health sector. Like if we look at some major health indicators, so in Bagmati province, so Bagmati province is in a relatively better position all the health indicators compared to the other provinces in the country. But however, in rural areas, the same health indicators are poor, not only compared to the urban areas of the Bagmati province, but also in comparison with those indicators in other provinces. For example, if we talk about the important health indicators, we always talk about under 5 mortality. So it's the lowest in the province, but within the province, urban areas holds the highest prevalence of all categories of under 5 mortality. It's almost same as the national levels, and similar with the other age as well. So talking about the risk factors, so not only that, Bagmati province has also the highest prevalence of the NCDs like hypertension and diabetes. And the province is also in the risk of other occupational diseases because there are multiple nature of job in the province when the people are very
प्यानल डिस्कसनपछि सहभागीहरूको जिज्ञासाको समाधानका लागि खुल्ला प्रश्नोत्तर सत्र समेत सञ्चालन गरिएको थियो। अस्ट्रेलियन दूतावासका डिप्युटी हेड अफ मिसन ग्रेग कलेनले कार्यक्रममा मन्तव्य दिँदै आनाको प्रयासको प्रशंसा गर्दै अस्ट्रेलियन अलुम्नाईहरूको ज्ञान र सिप नेपालमा उपयोग हुने विश्वास व्यक्त गर्नुभयो।
Of course, Australian universities are exceptional. They're world class. I don't have to convince you of that. We have 9 of the top 100 in the world, 6 of the top 50. And we're really proud, I think, at the Australian Embassy that we can contribute to Nepal's development in this way. And not only through our Australian education institutions, which most of you here have benefited from, but also through our development program, through the more than 1,200 Nepalis who've had Australia Award scholarships and had the chance to study in Australia through them, through the $4 million we've invested in disability inclusion in schools, I think around 200 schools in Nepal. And for me, this is one of the really important parts to address some of the challenges that the panelists were talking about. Building up those skills, building up education in Nepal so that we can tackle some of those challenges is really important. I made a few notes during the discussion. I think there were about 10 different sectors represented here today. There was banking, governance, entrepreneurship, media, climate change, health, IT. Can't read what I've written there. Disability inclusion. And these are all areas that we're very much focused on at the embassy as well. Just to tell you a little bit about some of the things we've been doing. We've been trying to do a lot to promote trade and investment bilaterally, but particularly supporting exporters from Nepal to export more to Australia. And so we've launched some initiatives there to help build capacity amongst Australian companies, teaching them specifically some of the things they need to know in order to export to the Australian market. We're also very keen to tap into the enormous Nepali diaspora in Australia. It's now 200,000, not including the 50,000 students we have in Australia as well. And that's a huge community which really should be bringing about more bilateral trade and investment than it is. So we've launched an initiative to study the diaspora and find out how it can be leveraged more in order to build up those trade and investment links. Incidentally, Nepalis are now our 8th largest overseas-born population. It's just overtaken Malaysia in the past year. So it's a huge community and developing extremely rapidly. On the media front, we're very glad that we'll be starting an initiative from the start of July to support investigative journalism in Nepal. And I think maybe some of the funding constraints on media were touched on in the discussion. And so being able to support investigative journalism, which can be very expensive, is an important thing that we want to focus on as well. On the IT side of things, this was an area that I think 10 months ago when I first arrived here, I immediately saw there was huge potential in this country. And we've been looking at ways that we can promote the capability that Nepal has in this sector in Australia. And very glad to say that there'll be an upcoming roadshow in Australia with 15 IT companies from Nepal represented. And we hope that will start to increase awareness about the amazing value for money and capability that there is in this country. Disability inclusion, obviously, and it's one, is Sunita still here? One that's very close to Sunita's heart, and she works on, there you go. But it's embedded, obviously, in all of our development programs as a standard thing. So something we're very much focused on in Australia, as well as all 4 forms of inclusion.
आनाका उपाध्यक्ष तथा काठमाडौँ विश्वविद्यालयका अङ्ग्रेजीका सहप्राध्यापक प्रोफेसर डाक्टर काशीराज पाण्डेले धन्यवाद ज्ञापनसहित कार्यक्रमको समापन गर्नुभएको थियो।
I try not to forget. So first of all, I thank you all the members, life members, ANA life members, to make their time, to encourage us, the team of ANA, and to witness our event also. You have made your time and presence here, all of you. We are grateful for that. And also my team, ANA team, the chair of the session, the ANA president and general secretary, and the team members, including our office secretary. Thank you very much for your hard work. Throughout you have done hard work and made this possible. Now, of course, the Australian Embassy, Greg and his team, Suntaji and other friends, all you have been always supportive to us and to encourage us. So thank you all for this one. Then the Australian award team, yes, Selena ji, Kim ji, yes, actually myself, I'm one of the Australia Awards alum, so it always gives me pleasure to see you here. And yeah, and also friends from education providing agencies, Nair, Negas colleagues, also the German alumni, and I heard Netherlands alumni friends also were here. I would love to see you all after this session. And also I saw president of IRE Nepal also, and now he is not here, but I saw him there. All of you who made your time here, and all the presenters and panelists, I thank you. Presenters, especially Dr. Dheeraj sir, who made his presence in nature, climate change, all that. I could see your participation, active participation, and this always makes us proud as the ANA, the alumni committee.